The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade. Welcome to The Unfiltered by Jade, where we get out of the box and dive into topics that are sidelined. I look forward to entertain, educate, and inspire. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records, a proud sponsor of The Unfiltered by Jade.
Shopping Assistance Jamaica takes the stress away. Our services include online and local shopping in Jamaica for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, helping you to find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195. Shopping Assistance 2015 at gmail.com. Follow Shopping Assistance on Instagram at Shopping Assist JA, at Twitter at Shopping Assist 5, and Facebook at The Shopping Assistance. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget. Welcome back to The Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us Dr. Antoine Thurston, and he is an author and the author of My Bondage and My Freedom book. And he's a minister, he's a motivational speaker, he's an entrepreneur, and he is the host for a podcast also. He can give you further information on that later on. So we're going to speak today about what the mind conceives. And this is also taken from a quote that I normally have from Napoleon Hill that says, whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind can achieve. So on talking on that, hello, Dr. Antoine, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Jade. I'm doing wonderful, fantastic. Yourself?
I am doing good. Thank you so much for asking.
Great.
Yes. So how does one think about themselves? How can that affect their reality?
Definitely, how a person thinks about themselves affects the reality. It can either be positive or it can be negative. It's like glasses. I wear glasses. I also wear contacts, and so if my vision is if something gets on my glasses, it hinders what I can see or how I see. So when I go annually for my checkup for my eyes, they do a test on me and they ask, is this clear? Is that clear? Is this blurry? Is that blurry? And usually with my eyes, if it's off, and there are some things when it comes to perception, if it's not clear, a D will look like a C. A G may look like an F.
Right.
So the same thing with our perception of ourselves, life, God, and everything else. If my vision, which is my perception, isn't valid or realistic, then it distorts everything else I see. Just like glasses correct your vision
right
to its proper place. And you have to have people in your life that give you a corrective response.
Right.
And some of us are so used to looking at things through a distorted, blurry view that it affects how we see and what we see and why we see it. We have to be able to sit down with a mental, emotional eye doctor and allow those individuals to correct our vision, because sometimes we got our vision from our dad, our mom, our sister, our brother, our society, our culture, which distorted how we see it, which is not always the case. Matter of fact, when I was in 5th grade, I needed glasses, didn't realize it. I bet my vision got, and I couldn't really see the question. I couldn't solve it. I couldn't do it. And so when our perception is off and incorrect or blurry and not accurate and realistic and real, it will definitely affect our ability to solve problems in life.
Yes.
And so also, neurologically with the brain, there is a part of our brain that's called the limbic system. And basically the limbic system, part of it has to do with perception. And it's based on experiences, what we experience. So if you have a negative experience, and whenever it's going to form of memory that goes with that experience.
Right.
And so, some of us have distorted experiences of love, or
Wow.
have all these bad experiences, these evil, oppressive experiences when it comes to love. And so we think love is distorted and abusive and hateful, which is not. So you have somebody that's been loved, and so their limbic system knows how to be love, accept love, give love, because that limbic system has had a different experience. And so if we want to change our perception, we also have to change our experiences.
Mercy.
And sometimes the only way you can change your experience is being around people that have had different experiences than you.
Yes.
And different encounters and different societies or cultures and so forth. And so if we want to change what we see and how we see, we have to change who we're around, what we're listening to, what we're reading, what we're digesting,
Yes.
what we're regurgitating and so forth. Because what you digest, you're going to regurgitate.
Yes.
And some of us, we digested so much oppression, so much trauma, so much grief, so much hurt, so much pain, which is, even sin itself, that it has really distorted our lenses.
Yes.
It has blinded us. It has hurt us. And so our perception is filtered through the hurt, pain, and trauma. And so we don't even see people correctly as they do or as they are, because everything we see is blurry. Right. So we can't make out how to come out of a situation. We can't cope. We don't know how to cope because everything we've done or up to that moment has been distorted.
That's almost sound like a message. Almost sound like you're ready to deliver a message. But good. Very good. In a world of negativity, how do we keep our minds focused on the positives and create a safe space for ourselves?
What I like about that question, it had me ponder. One, I said like this. One, you have to set realistic goals. You have to set goals, but the goals have to be realistic.
Yes.
And so if they're not realistic, you're going to fall and you're going to give up. Most people give up because they have unrealistic expectations.
Right.
It has to be real. It has to be attainable, but goals also have to be progressive.
Yes.
And so goals also keep you focused. Without goals, it means you're not without goals, it means you're not going to be progressive and you're not going to progress. And when you don't have goals, you don't really have a plan.
Right.
And so what goals do is help us devise and strategize a plan and means to get to where we're going to get to. So goals are kind of like signs when you're driving. The signs are just indicators that I'm going in the right direction.
Right.
And so, and when you're driving, if you see a sign, it lets you know, okay, I'm going to make a right here, make a right there, make a left here. And it's letting me know I'm going in the right direction. But once I stop seeing certain signs that don't go in accordance with the GPS and the roadmap, then I have to start making adjustments and make changes in the route that I'm going when I'm driving. But some of us don't have goals, so we don't really know where we're going. But you only you only input a GPS address when you know where you're going.
Right.
And so the problem sometimes is we're not really focused because we don't know who we are. We don't know where we're going.
Yes.
We don't even know how to get there. So it also requires self-awareness.
Yes.
I have to know where I am. When you're driving, it asks for where is your location.
Yes.
I have to know where I am. And if I want to get to that location, I have to have the proper vehicle or transportation. Now, based on the transportation, it's going to take you longer or slower. So if I'm walking, it's going to definitely always take me longer than driving. And so we have to be able to assess, okay, what vehicles represents tools, resources I have to get to where I'm going. And if you don't have the tools, then you're going to have to maneuver and make adjustments.
Yes.
You might not be able to get there to your destination as fast as somebody that has a Ferrari.
Right.
But if all you have is a bike and you have, if you have bike material, you're not going 50 miles per hour. You're not going to go as fast, but you can still get there.
Yes.
And so what you also want to do in this negative world is stop. I said this before, this is good. When you're driving, you're not looking at everybody else's car. You're glimpsing at it. You're being aware of your surroundings. And we got to be aware of our surroundings, no matter how negative. And we got some clowns out there that are careless, reckless drivers. But you can't become so consumed with everybody else's driving that you forget how to drive, that you forget where you're going. Because if I focus on other cars and other people, then I'm going to miss a turn. I can miss a turn. I get in an accident. And so we have to focus on the car we're in and the route we're on. We can't worry about other people's destinations.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Awesome. That's good.
And one thing also, goals keep you from getting distracted.
Yes.
They keep you focused and they keep you motivated. Some of
Yes.
us lost our motivation because we just don't have goals. If I have a goal for a set
Mm.
time, and goals must have a time to it. They push you forward. They
Yes.
keep us from being stagnant.
Yes.
And that safe place, when it comes to a safe place, one word comes to mind: boundaries. You have to have boundaries for your time, relationships, opportunities. If people can't respect your time, your boundaries, they don't respect you.
That's
So
true.
so we have to create distance. And even if that distance has to be cut off, you have to cut people off. Your time is valuable. You have to understand you're valuable as a human being and as a person.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
can't allow people to disrespect my time, my money, my who I am as a person, my character, and the boundaries that I've set, because boundaries keep us safe. And
Yes.
without boundaries, there's no safety, there's no control, there's no value, and so forth. And so some of us, because we don't have goals and we don't have boundaries, people trespass on our
Yes.
lives that don't have
Mercy.
the right to be in our lives or in our path.
Wow. Yes. That's oh my goodness. That's good. That is good. I'm telling you that's good. Wow. All
Yes,
right.
definitely.
That's good. All right. So not having a source of identity as a Black man,
Hmm.
how does that impact or lead to depression?
Hmm. Um, I will say this: everything has a source.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's ever created has a source or a root. Look at a tree; it has roots. And so some of us, when we look at a tree, we think the strength is in the leaves. No, the strength is in the roots. The strength is
Mm-hmm.
not in its bark, it's in the roots. We, especially as in being a Black man, my roots are not in my leaves. I mean, my identity is not in my leaves. My strength is
Mm-hmm.
not in my leaves. Everything is supported by the root. And so without a root system, that tree will die and collapse. And so we got to understand, even as a Black community,
Right.
our roots are in God and should always be in God. God should always
Right.
be our source, not
Right.
the culture, because the culture can always change. But if our roots are in God and in Jesus Christ, that's where my identity comes from. But I'll keep it more relevant. When I was in ninth grade, I read a book, and actually my book is called My Bondage and My Freedom: From the Mental Institution to the Pulpit. I based that off of Frederick Douglass'
Mm-hmm.
autobiography. His autobiography is called My Bondage and My Freedom. He was born as a slave, and then he became free later on in years through an air balloon. And reading his autobiography was invigorating, because he was born as a slave, and the horror story that I read of the Europeans and Caucasians did to African Americans and Africans for the sake of selfish gain and pride and perversion.
Mm-hmm.
It caused me to really hate Caucasian and white people. I started hating them. I
Wow.
remember one specific part where there was a Black slave girl. She was asleep. She was dead tired. She was sleeping, and the master's baby, started to cry in the other room. And the wife of the master, white master, got a hard object and beat that girl's chest in and cracked her chest.
Wow.
And that traumatized me as a young Black boy. I'm like, this is horrible. And I
Mm-hmm.
went to my father and I said, Dad, I'm hating white people because of what I'm reading. My dad said something to me so powerful. He says, Antoine, don't hate the people, hate the sin.
Yes, yes, yes.
Don't lose don't become like your oppressor. Don't
Mm-hmm.
become evil because evil is being done to you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something about when my dad said that to me, it helped me go through the rest of that book, because I was tired. Sometimes we get mad and we feel like we're not good enough because
Right.
we're Black, we're African Americans, we've been oppressed. But if we can just not become what we've been through, or what society says about us, institutional racism, systematic racism in the finances and economy and socialism, all this type of stuff, as long as we don't become like them, we can get through this.
Mm.
And too many times we're focusing on hating the people or becoming the victim, although we all are victim of something. But
Mm-hmm.
when I take on that I'm not worthy and I have no value because of how people treat me, then we've lost.
Yes. Yes.
then
And
we've lost.
that also starts with the mind also.
Yes.
And how it is, right? The mind and how we see ourselves. Mm-hmm. And people, people may have anything to say or do things to us, or, but we are responsible for what we answer to. So if in our minds we're already degrading ourselves, we're going to answer and associate ourselves with hating people. We're going to answer and associate ourselves with things that are negative. Yes. So with that also, and depression, it also starts in the mind. That's where it is. How is it that we can reinforce positivity, whether within ourselves, within the society?
How can we bring forth positivity? I would definitely say when it comes to us, especially as a people, bringing forth positivity, being intentional by protecting our circle, protecting the people we are around, protecting our thoughts and surroundings, and pursue positive relationships and environments. I know some brothers, their mindset is the man always out to get me. The white man, this white man, that. And I understand the mentality. We do live in a racist, hate-filled society.
Yes.
But if I allow what other people say about me to become my identity, then I become it.
Yes.
There was a book called The Four Agreements, and this is part of what I was going to say at the end. And one of those agreements is don't take anything personal, because sometimes what other people say to you is really not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them.
Yes.
And the energy that is within them.
Yes.
And there was a mother, and she had a little daughter. The daughter had a beautiful voice and could sing. Oh, it was beautiful. But the mother became frustrated with her own life, her bills stretched out. And so one day the mother gets mad and upset. Not because of the daughter she's singing. The daughter begins to sing louder and louder, and the mother gets agitated. Like I said, not because of the daughter, but because of her own inner turmoil.
Yes.
And stress. And the mother bursts out and says to the daughter, "Stop singing, you have an ugly voice." The daughter hears it, believes it, and agrees with it, and stops singing. So she goes to school for the rest of her life, not singing anymore. She becomes withdrawn. She becomes reclusive. She becomes reclined. And she becomes what her mother said, even though it wasn't true. And so we as a people and as individuals, regardless of race, color, people can say what they want to say, as long as we don't agree with it. Yes. I don't have to become what you say about me.
That's
because what you say about me is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
We're not less. We're not an inferior race. We are strong people.
Yes.
And so, but the thing is, some of us stop talking because we believe what they said. We stop singing. We stop being positive. We stop being entrepreneurial. We stop being creative. We stop being ambitious. And some of us, we stop dreaming because other people told us not to dream.
Yes.
Just because you don't have a dream don't mean you can't enforce that on me. But it doesn't matter what you say. I'm not going to believe what you say about me. I'm going to believe what I say about me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to believe what God says
about me. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so as long as I keep and treasure who I am, I protect who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so if what you're saying about me is not congruent and in parallel with what I believe, I reject it and have to repel it, and I can't accept it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And so that's how I say reinforce positivity.
Awesome. How can our circles affect what our mind conceives, or how we go about doing things?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I remember this movie. It's called. You ever heard of Ice Age?
Yes.
Yes, they got like four or five movies with it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But the second movie is called The Meltdown.
Yes.
And Manny the Mammoth, he's like the last mammoth, basically, to his knowledge. But one day he meets another mammoth. Her name is Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
But Ellie, even though she's looked like a mammoth, talk like a mammoth, she doesn't act or behave like a mammoth. She acts like a possum. She's even in the tree hanging like a possum.
Mm-hmm.
But to find out, she has two brothers that she's been raised up with because her parents died and she was alone, and so she was adopted by possums.
Right. So she's
she's limited by a possum view. And so many times we're raised up in environments or people, we're around possums, but we have a mammoth mind.
Wow.
We have mammoth faith. We have mammoth dreams. We have mammoth potential, but we're living. We have reduced our ability to the minds and the thoughts of other people, and so some of us have limited ourselves because of the people we've been around. And so what had to happen was Manny had to take her and give her a checkup and give her a shaking. You're not a possum. You're living. She was living in a deluded life. She was deceived. It wasn't even intentional, but just being around the possums all the time,
She
she no
started acting
longer
like one. Mm-hmm.
exactly. And so some of us have been around poverty all our life. We don't believe we can ever be rich.
Oh, mighty.
We've been on food stamps. We've been on Section 8. We've been playing a lottery. Lottery is the only way. Football, NBA, that's the only way. I can't use my gift. I can't use my intelligence. There's no other way for me to make it because we've been listening to possums and not mammoths. You got to start hanging around mammoths.
Mercy.
And sometimes you got to ask God, put some mammoths people in my life that can see my potential, my qualities, and help me grow and and become aware of my potential. Because some of us die with so much potential in us because we're around small-minded people.
Yes.
Small-minded people can't see a big vision.
Yes.
It's like trying to get a 2-foot person to see only what a 6-foot person can see. You can't see what I see. And so some of us are around small-minded people, and it's killing our goals, it's killing our dreams, and it's killing our progress and process because we're around people that don't have the capacity to hold or to even envision and accept what we are, who we are, and where we're going and what we can be.
Wow.
And some of us have taken on that same mindset, and we are limiting ourselves because of what we believe and what we accept. Stop accepting the possum's norm and start accepting the mammoth's norm, because a mammoth sees farther, greater than a possum ever would. So we have to elevate our mind, elevate, change the people we are around. And when we do that, we'll stop acting like possums. We'll stop acting like possums. We'll start acting like mammoths. And when we start acting like mammoths, we'll start being mammoths. And people will respect us as a mammoth.
Yes.
Because some of us are being treated according to how we think and not according to who we are and how we are.
Yes.
Some of us are really being treated as a possum because we believe we're a possum.
Mm-hmm.
But if the moment you start believing that you are who you really are, who God says you are, people stop treating you like a possum.
Yes. Oh, what are 5 rules that you live by when protecting your space and how you think, how you protect your mind?
For me personally, Jade, the first one is the number one, is foundational.
Yes.
Believing in God, placing my faith in someone greater than myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a weak human being. I'm finite. All my ability and strength doesn't come from me. It comes from God.
Yes.
Lord Jesus Christ in my life. Secondly, believe in yourself.
Yes.
I think sometimes we can believe in God, but we won't believe in us. And so we even hinder what God can do because we don't believe we can even do it. Sometimes God wants to do great things in us, but we don't even believe in us that he can do it because we have this inferior mindset, that possum mindset again. And until we change our beliefs, we can't change our feelings, our actions, or lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And so believing in yourself is so pertinent. If we believe we only gonna be in an apartment all our life, that's what you're gonna have. Whatever we believe, we're gonna have it. We're gonna see it. We're gonna live it. So we have to change what we believe, how we believe.
Yes.
And that's being transformed by our thinking.
Yes.
Thirdly, don't take anything personal, like I said before. But when we take stuff personal, we think it's us.
Yes.
We hinder ourselves and we offend ourselves, and we live in a spirit of offense all the time. We wear our emotions on our shoulders. We just can't take everything personal. And we'll lose good, positive relationship by taking everything personal. Mm-hmm. Some things are not personal. A lot of it is. Sometimes people forget to call you. Sometimes people forget to return your phone call or forget to do this. Just don't take it personal. Yes. It's all about the paradigm shift and how we see things.
Yes.
I'll give you a story. There was a lady, she had bought some crackers and some cookies. She was at an airline. She started eating the cookies or whatnot that was on the table. And then she started hearing crunching. Started hearing crunching, basically. She wasn't eating. She started hearing crunching. And there was this guy reaching into her bag, eating her little snacks. She was like, why is he eating my snacks? And then, she started each one. He keep eating snacks out of her bag. Mm-hmm. And she reads her paper and she keep hearing crunching. I'm like, why is he in my bag? And so she takes it and eats it and finds out, as she gets to the front of the line and then she empties some of her stuff out, her original snack was actually in her purse. So she wasn't eating her candy, she was eating his candy. But yeah, all because of how she saw it. And perspective, exactly. If we're looking at things from a different perspective, we'll sit here and think people are doing us wrong, but what if we're the one doing them wrong? So perception is so important. Yeah, perception is so important because if you're looking at it from one angle, you don't see the other angle. You don't see the other person's perspective. So we want to gain other people's perspective. We want to look at it holistically, you know.
Yes.
Definitely. 4, track your thoughts and journal your experiences. And I say with this, in addition to it, celebrate your success.
Yes.
Take track of your failures. We all have room for improvement, and log your weaknesses, make those improvements, but learn to celebrate success. And that comes with tracking how you think. Sometimes we're not aware how we're thinking. So keep a journal. I have a journal. Keep a journal of your thoughts, how you're thinking, your emotions, so you can track it, because you can't improve what you don't track.
Yes.
And then lastly, have boundaries. Don't let people or other ideas trespass upon our mind, our purpose, our path without our consent. Without our consent. If we give consent to it, it has legal right. It has authority to be in our life with that person.
Yes.
But if I don't give you permission to be in my life, I can't let you in my life.
True.
And one thing about, even when we live in a home, usually when someone knocks on the door, you say, who is it? You want to know who it is. We have to know who people are before they enter into our lives.
Yes.
You don't let a complete stranger in your house.
No.
You ask them who they are, and then when you have a conversation with them, you go outside to have a full conversation, because I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know if you're a danger. I don't know anything.
Right.
And so sometimes we have to place people where they belong. And some people don't belong in our house. They just need to be outside. We can have a conversation. We can be cordial. We can go out to eat, but you can't be in my house.
No.
Because I still don't know you. And so some of us let people in our house and homes prematurely, and they do more damage
than good.
But when you know who a person is, if it's the cable people, I'm expecting the cable people. And so I'm letting the cable people in, but the cable people can't be in the bathroom either.
No.
So when we know people's purpose, we know where to prioritize them.
Wow.
And some people want to be a stranger, but they want to be inside the bedroom, inside the bathroom, inside the kitchen. But they want access they haven't earned. People have to earn trust. You have to earn my trust.
Yes.
You have to earn access to my life. And we can't be willy-nilly to give access to everybody. We have to value our home, our life, and we have to let the right people in.
I like that. We have to earn access to people's life. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Dr. Antoine. I mean, this was good. You dropped a lot of gems that, I know people benefit from, and I have benefited from it.
Yeah.
In terms of, there's a lot of things that you have spoken about, or, that I've picked up, and your analogies were so on point. They were so good. So I want to thank you so much. I want you to leave your contact information in case anybody wants to find you, get your book, listen to your podcast, follow you.
Yes, definitely. I am available on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Just type in my name, Antoine D. Thurston. I do have a talk show. I am the host of a podcast.
Yes.
Just go on Spotify or Anchor or any other podcast platforms, and just type in my name, Antoine D. Thurston, Antoine, the letter D, and Thurston, Thurston, and my platform and podcast will pop up. My book is also available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble online store, Books A Million.
Nice.
When it comes to Amazon, I have a new version of my book, newly published. So please, everyone, if you're going to go to Amazon, pick the new version, new edition.
The new edition.
Reformatted, republished, and so forth. And then also, if they like to purchase books from me personally and I autograph those books, they can go to my website, as well as the ebook is available. And then I also have a short 7-minute video on my website where I talk about 7 ways to overcome bondage. My book is called My Bondage and My Freedom: From the Mental Institution to the Pulpit. I faced suicidal ideation, suicidal attempts, depressed. I was addicted to pornography, and I even got exposed to witchcraft. But the grace and the power of God and His love changed and transformed my life.
Yes.
And so that book is a book of hope, hope and the love of God.
And freedom.
Yes, freedom. Freedom is free, but it does cost. It costs to maintain it. Amen. So they can go on there if they like a personal downloadable ebook or a subscribed autograph paperback from me. Just go to AntoineDThurston.com, ANTOINE, the letter D, THURSTON.com.
Nice. So thank you so much for all of that information. Thank you guys also for listening, and we'll definitely be back next week, Tuesday, on the Unfiltered by Jade. Thank you.
Bam bam bide. Bam bam bide. Badu bidi boo. Bam bam bide.